So for today's session, we'll continue the Tripura Rahasya. I want you all to get a piece of paper and a pen or pencil and come on video. You can go get a piece of paper and something to write on, and a paper on a pencil and paper. You know that? It's here. And whoever's not on video can go on video to see the whatever you create on the paper. Sumandri, Shishadji is not joining?
No, Krishnaji, because he has some work, he had to go out with the Satvik.
Going, okay. You make him do this exercise later.
Sure. He's really not happy that he's missing, but it was really unavoidable. He had to go.
No problem. Just a moment. You're all able to hear me clearly, right? Okay. Before we take up the Tripura Rahasya, the practice that we just did, the Soham Kriya, it is moving the breath in the spinal cord, visualizing the breath movement in the spinal cord, visualizing the energy movement in the spinal cord. So typically, we are all part of what is popularly known as evolution. Okay, so we started from some biological form, then the form evolved. Then there is a psychological evolution, and then there is a spiritual evolution. So all these evolutions, whether it be a physical transformation, you were born as a baby, and prior to that, how you arrive to a human form is a very long journey from so many organisms. The life evolved, changing shape, form, evolving. Then the Darwin's theory, then the monkey evolved into a human being. So all that is a long process journey. Okay. Then there is psychological evolution. The thought process keeps improving. Ideation keeps happening, learning, so many types of learnings keep happening. Then there is a spiritual evolution. Spiritual evolution is, how do I come out of this cycle of evolution? How can I put an end to my journey? Enough evolving, no more evolving. Because after a certain point, all evolution seems like going in circles. You've come to a stagnation where it's believed that the body has reached the human being is the peak of evolution. There's nothing more better than a human being possible. Maybe there are more advanced human bodies possible, more advanced human minds possible. But whatever be the case, whatever advancement is there, the human problem it's not able to solve the human problem. In fact, it's making the suffering more and more. The more you evolve, it seems like the more you suffer. Okay, as an animal, you were probably suffering less. You didn't have to worry about paying loan for your house. You were living freely in a house. So you would build a house as an animal. You would raise a family without having the burden of what the human being does, the same responsibilities and tasks, but with the burden and stress and suffering. Okay, with competition and everything. So as you're evolving, it seems like instead of having a more joyful and blissful experience, in the case of human being, the human being is more stressed and seems to be suffering more. And as a byproduct of that suffering, the human starts spreading the suffering as well. So whatever place the human being reaches, somehow finds a way to bring misery into that place. no matter what that place is. Okay. So you remove human beings from the picture. We've seen this. We have seen the visualization of this. There are many people who represent what happens to the earth the moment human beings are removed. Okay, you don't have to. So there was a comparison shown. I had seen. If you remove bees from the planet and if you remove human beings from the planet, if you remove bees from the planet dies. Okay, the planet becomes a graveyard. But if you remove human beings from the planet becomes more and more beautiful. All the concrete structures get in no time taken over by nature. Then animals can live freely, and it becomes a beautiful place. So have we then evolved into such beings that are not able to fulfill the purpose of evolution? Okay, somewhere the physical evolution has stopped, and then there's something missing that is not putting the utilization, giving meaning to this evolution. Okay, and this evolution seems to be a very slow process. We don't have so much time now to evolve more billions of years so that then our problems get solved. That's where the spiritual journey comes into the picture. The spiritual evolution, unlike the evolution spoken by science, is a conscious evolution. It's a conscious shift. I'm telling this because this has the practice that we did today has a direct implication on your evolution according to yoga. So this practice about moving the energy in the spinal cord. So what happens is the human brain undergoes a lot of learning and experiences, and eventually the body dies. Okay, and each year, so there's 365 days in a year, and this 365 days is the earth completes a journey around the sun. So in 365 days, your body and mind go through some growth, okay, and evolution. So you think about it. Same time last year, 365 days ago, to now, you would have gone through many experiences, various learnings. Okay. Now this is not talking about what is happening in the external life. You might have gone through up and down in the external life, but in the internal psychological evolution, you have matured, you have grown. Now that whatever's happened in 365 days through various experiences, very, very slowly and naturally is made rapid in this process of breathing the spinal cord. So one cycle up, breath up and down is called one cycle. Okay, moving the breath in the spinal cord, the energy in the spinal cord till the Agna and the Sahasrara, then moving it back in the spinal cord to the base of the spine. Okay, this one cycle is equivalent to 1 year of Earth moving around the sun. So whatever you would have evolved in that 365 days happens in one breath, one conscious moment. Okay, so you do it 108 times. A lifetime of evolution has happened in one practice. Now, what does this imply? So, just because I have moved, what does it imply? It has an implication on our nervous system, on our brain, and because of that, on our lives. So, every time you do some exercise, or you go out in the sun, or you go out in nature, you breathe fresh air, the body and mind takes a certain shape and form. Okay, so it is rejuvenating, it heals you. And so somebody is depressed, they're advised to drink more water, to go out and exercise, to be in the sun. So all this changes the mental structure. When I say it changes the mental structure, it changes the wave pattern in the brain. So the brain is nothing but brain waves. Okay. So there is a brain wave for what you're experiencing depends on what brain wave level you're at. And by and large, there are science has now arrived at, they're able to measure, they were able to put probes to your brain and arrive at, okay, this is your brain function and you're in this wave. What is the brain wave a child is in? What kind of brain waves does a child have? So there's a doctor called Dr. Joe Dispenza. He talks extensively about enlightenment through the journey of brain waves. So right now, as an individual experiencing duality, okay, you have certain brain waves. Okay, then there's a yogi or somebody who meditates, there's a certain brain wave. Then there's a gnani, and the gnana also spills down, and there is certain brain function and brain wave. So this is the journey of brain waves. He helps people to drop ignorance and slowly move into deeper and deeper levels of expanded brain waves, where you experience a deep peace, calm, no stress, no anxiety, no worries, no overthinking, a deep sense of peace and calm, and the ability to be present in the moment and learn. So a child, he gives an example. The child, when it's in the mother's womb, okay, in the mother's womb, it's when it's functioning in a brainwave model called delta. Okay, so this child starts learning and absorbing from the time it's in the mother's womb. It's called prenatal learning. Okay, because its brain waves allows that. And as it's born, now it's born, the body is formed and it's outside in the world. It's still in a delta mode. Okay, and in the delta mode, it's just like a sponge. The child is nothing but a sponge. It cannot make sense of anything that it sees or perceives. It just absorbs. Sound, all sensory perception it absorbs, and it starts making patterns. Okay, and it's the same time that the child also learns the most fundamental things: self-identity, its name, parents, world, what, like you touch fire, it burns. All those primordial learnings happens in this time. Now, nobody has taught the child how to learn. Nobody has taught discrimination to the child. You should learn this, you should not learn this. Okay, there's no discrimination yet. It just absorbs. Everything it absorbs. Trial and error, it absorbs. And it learns. Then it forms desire that it needs to move. Now it starts to try to walk. And in walking also, the child, anybody know how many times the child falls before it learns to walk? Huh, Sumanji?
A lot, Krishna, Guruji.
Soumitra?
No idea.
It falls more than 2 lakh times. 2 lakh. Okay? 2 lakh times it falls before it learns. That means you fell 2 lakh times, around that number, before you learn to walk. Now, as an adult, you imagine you failed at something more than 10 times. Will you keep up the activity? That's the difference in the brainwave. Because as an adult, you are in a beta mode. The brainwave is beta. So the difference between beta and delta is that in delta, there is no past program. It's a fresh, clean slate. So when the child fails, it has no thought that, oh, I failed. It has no concept of success and failure. That's why it's able to learn. As an adult, the learning ability reduces because there's an interference of concepts of success, failure, time, somebody else is doing fast, anxiety, peer pressure, all those things. And all those affect the function. Now, as an adult, if you're able to go into delta, then you learn. But the only time as an adult you go into delta is when you sleep. So in sleep, you're in the brain waves in delta. But for a child with eyes open, it is in delta. Okay. Yogis go into delta mode through meditation, delta, and the next stage, where is theta, which is a much higher stage, where they're able to absorb and learn and be fully aware. Okay. Then Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about gamma, which is of a gnani. The gamma wave is, he says, deep peace, silence, ability to function with full capacity without the interference of the past or the future. Okay. Then the child from the delta, it is in a fully receiving mode. Now it is made some formation by the age of 4. Now it is made some structures, data patterns, that this is my house, that is not my house, this is my dress, that is not my dress, I should behave like this, I should not behave like this. So it has absorbed all the programs and it starts living by those programs. Then it moves from delta to alpha, where it's of the programs, it starts becoming emotional. There's an emotional quotient that opens up. At first, it was only a pure spiritual quotient. Okay, purely spiritual. The child has no emotional disturbances. There's no rage, there's no hate, there's no jealousy. Okay, even if the child shows, it's only for a second. It doesn't burn with that. Okay, but then after the age of 4 and 5, it starts. Now it's programmed. Now it's moved into a different brainwave modality. And here it's emotional. It is getting input from the outer world, but it's also getting input from the inner world. There are 2 input mechanisms. Okay, the teacher is saying something in this, and this time typically the child is going to school. Okay, it is receiving something, but it's also saying something. Okay, and most of the time, whatever it says is not given power because it's overpowered. Whatever speech it has is cut down because it's still dependent on the parents, on the other people. Okay, so that weakens the emotional quotient more and more. And by the time it becomes a teenager, the alpha flares up, meaning the emotion takes over completely because it's been suppressed so much as a child, simply because that's how the world works. You can't give responsibility to a child. All that unspoken emotional energy flares up, and now it's completely in a reactive mode, not a receiving mode. First it was learning, absorbing. Now it's only, and then it tried to express. Okay, that expression either got a means or it didn't get the means. Whatever happened, now it's in a mode where it's completely has the ability to express. Okay, I'm going to voice my feelings, voice my thoughts. Okay, now it's no longer learning, it doesn't want to learn. Okay, that's why you see teenagers, they don't want to learn anymore. Now the IQ is formed, the EQ, they're in command, and SQ is completely discarded. Now I don't want to learn anymore. Now I know how the world works. And from there, since that learning was stopped, further learning did not happen. If the child had a good fortune of going through a very good spiritual education at that delta stage, then the child grows up to be a very highly evolved being. The typical example is Swami Vivekananda. Okay, from a very young age, his mother told him stories and gave him the right samskaras, impressions about the divine, about compassion, about the world. So all this helps the child to be in a better position to transition from one stage to another. Then when as an adult, you are completely in beta mode. In beta mode, you're practically a robot. There's no difference between a beta adult and a robot. The beta adult is basically a biological robot. There are programs running, and this beta adult is executing. Whatever words come out, it's not that person's word, it's some program word. Whatever action happen, including the reactions, including anger, emotional response, thought process, okay, direction in life, everything is already programmed. And this person is just living it out. And this beta adult, the experience of the beta adult is called samsara. Samsara is beta. To come out of the samsara is to come out of all these programs. And that's the spiritual journey, to deprogram yourself. But to deprogram yourself, you have to be first able to go into delta mode, so that you can learn the deprogramming, so that you can receive it. And that is the importance of a master. In the presence of a Sadguru, a Gnani, the mind goes into delta. The mind calms down, just in the presence. Okay, in the presence of the Guru, the mind calms down. And there's a dialogue. That's why Sri Krishna says, the only way is tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te gnanam gnanina tattvadarshana. The only way is tadvidhi, the atmagnana you receive. Pranipatena, pranipata means in the presence of the master, the surrender happens. You don't have to do it. The mind becomes silent. Then in the dialogue, there's a dialogue with the master, question and answer, correction. That answers and that puts to rest a lot of the alpha waves, all that teenage tendencies, all those uncontrolled emotional outbursts are put to rest through the process of question and answer. Okay? Pariprashnena. Sevaya. The seva is a new program. You can't directly jump from one program to another. So the Guru gives opportunity for seva. Seva is nishkama karma, where you're involved in study, where you're involved in some seva activity. That further cleans the slate. And then happens darshana. Darshana is Atmagna, process of self-inquiry and the realization or the recognition of who I am. So this is the process. Why I started telling this is this breathing, spinal cord breathing, helps in that process significantly because it handles a significant portion of this journey by bringing transformation in the brainwaves. Okay, that itself gives a lot of relief, brings a lot of change in the body and mind, so that you're able to handle life in a much better way. Ultimately, what distorts your growth? A simple example: you're in some corporate, and you're expected to. Your growth depends on how you perform, what kind of efforts you put, and how you deliver. And that has a direct correlation with how your brain functions. Okay, if your brain is able to be focused always, able to come out with creative solutions, able to solve problems, able to learn. Okay, now the learning has become a very important part of all professional journeys. There's no longer you can say, oh, I did my degree, now I'm engineer. Every year you have to learn something new. This new software, new data structures, new technology. Right, Soumitra? Or you don't have to learn?
Every day.
Every day you have to learn, right? Because the market is changing, the users are changing, the product is changing, and you have to keep up. To keep up, your biology has to support. If you're lethargic, if you're dull, you'll be thrown out. Right? You have to be have the ability to learn, engage, deliver. Okay, and that's very dependent on your physical health and your mental health mostly. And the mental, not called mental health, that's used in a wrong connotation. It's how your brain functions. Is it at its optimal, or is it distorted? So to remove all the distortion, the yogic practices, which have been passed on from thousands of years, they have been researched, they have been tried, tested, everything has been done. Okay, and then it's passed on from a master to disciple. Okay, and this simple practice of moving the breath in the spinal cord, moving the energy in the spinal cord, brings immense transformation in the body, mind, intellect. And eventually, this practice itself, no practice can lead to Atmangnana. Okay, but practice, the highest point a practice can reach is Savikalpa Samadhi, or God realization. So this particular practice of spinal cord breathing takes you to Savikalpa Samadhi, God realization, and the experience of totality, which is the fulfillment of human life. Any doubts? Any doubts? Clear? Shall we continue Tripura Rahasya? So Tripura Rahasya, I'll just give a quick recap. So Hemachuda is the prince, and Hemalekha he's married a Gnani called Hemalekha. And Hemalekha, and the story of Hemachuda and Hemalekha is being told by Bhagavan Dattatreya to Parashurama. Parashurama now has done Sri Vidyopasana for 12 years. He's come back to Bhagavan Dattatreya, and Bhagavan Dattatreya is giving him Atmagnana through the story of Hemalekha and Hemachuda. And Hemalekha is giving Hemachuda Atmagnana. And how is she doing it? She's doing it step by step by step. Okay? One step at a time. She doesn't jump. She takes him, she handholds him like a child, like you're hand holding a child and leading them. So she handholds him, and step by step. First, the prince, who is completely involved in the outer experiences, of party and joy and immersed in sensual pleasures, slowly she moves him to inquiry about these and points out at all the problems in those experiences and how they're temporary. Then makes him question his concepts. The second thing that she does is she makes him question his concepts. What all concepts you carry? Concepts about beauty, concepts about how life is, and all these concepts she gives examples from his surrounding. She doesn't go anywhere outside the palace. Okay, she talks about the king, she talks about the servants. Just in talking about the king, queen, and servant, like a chessboard. Okay, there's a chessboard, there's a board, and there's a king, there's a queen, there's a horse, there is a camel, and there are soldiers. Just within that framework of the square, the chessboard, she moves him from the stage of being immersed in sensual pleasure to becoming disgusted about sensual pleasures and disgusted with what he's doing in life. He gets the bigger picture now. See, what is happening is, so there's a mountain. There is somebody at the bottom of the mountain. What that person can see? What can that person see?
The mountain is very huge and it's difficult.
The mountain is huge. The mountain is very difficult. So this person has only speculations, has no experience. Okay, has only ideas of what it will be there. There'll be some ghost there. There'll be some tiger there. There'll be some rishi there. There'll be some god there. There'll be something there. Okay, this person can only speculate, but has no experience. And what they can see is they can see some trees around at their level. Okay, and they have no idea of what is the journey up. Correct? Then there's somebody who's gone a little bit up, probably in the middle of the mountain. What does this person see? This person has a better view. This person now can see the bottom and he has a better view of the top. And also, this person can see probably a village far away or a city far away. It's a better view. Then there is somebody at the top of the mountain. The person on the top of the mountain can see the horizon and can see the bottom and has a full knowledge of the whole journey. Okay, what is it like being on the bottom? What is it like being in the middle? And what is it like being on the top? When the person is on the top, for this person, the speculations of the bottom have died out. It doesn't matter. Even the thought of retrospecting and analyzing them is not there. Oh, I was thinking like this about the mountain, about the top, but it is like this. It doesn't matter because this person is experiencing the top. Okay. Only when that person interacts with somebody at the bottom, that knowledge is required. But for that person, there is no thought about the journey, about the stages, about anything. Now this person is immersed in the experience of the top. Such is the Gnani. The Gnani is at the peak of human, he's at the top of the mountain. Okay. That's why it is told in the scriptures to go to the Himalayas. But it's wrongly translated as go to the Himalayas. The teaching is to have a Himalayan experience, to have the experience of top of the mountain, the peak of human experience, which is Brahman. But when it's wrongly translated, it's translated physical. Himalaya is made into a physical place. So then people start going to Himalayas, hoping for enlightenment. Going to Himalayas will not give you a peak of human experience. Reaching the Himalayan peak within you is what they're talking about. So when somebody, so here in the story, Hemalekha is that person on the top. Sadhguru is the person on the top. The person on the top has a full vision. They understand the in and out of mind. Okay, they're able to see where the disciple stands and what is required as a next step. For somebody from the bottom, you don't tell directly leap to the top. It's impossible. You only tell what to do next. So there was a man this is a Zen story. In the Zen story, it talks about a man in a village who has a desire to cross over his village and go to another village. He wants to see the world. But to see the world, he has to cross over a mountain. There's a mountain in between. And there's no other way. He has to cross the mountain, climb up the mountain, somehow find a way, and he has to go. But he cannot go because at that time there's no way of having light. He can only make the journey in daytime. And how much ever time the sun is there, he can travel. Okay. And even though the sun is there, there are some caves where there's absolute darkness. He has no mechanism to navigate through the caves. So he's never made the journey because of darkness. Then there's a traveler from a different city who comes to that place and tells him, I have the desire to travel. Then this traveler tells, okay, I was able to travel because of this lantern. Okay, it's a lantern. And he gives him lantern and oil. All you have to do is keep refilling it. And this matches, you light it. You'll always have light. Then immediately this person, it's night time. Immediately this person puts the oil, lights the lantern. But he says, no, I'm not able to see anything. It's still dark. Then the traveler tells him, you don't have to see there. You only have to see your next step. At any point of time, all that you need to see is your next step. And this will enable you that. Okay, this will enable that. So enough light to see the next step. So Hemalekha, the person on the top, gives enough light to see the next step. Doesn't directly jump to the last. Okay, step by step she takes from the outer. She makes the mind inquire. Now, in the last session, she spoke about effort, to put self-effort. That for Atmanjnana, you have to put effort. Okay. And she spoke about Ishvara, the God. Hemachuda asked a question about God. Who is this God? There are so many gods. Who should I worship and all that? Then she gave him a overview and gnana about Ishvara. And she told him a story, which was a coded message, which he didn't understand initially. Then he comes back, because now he's understood that she's no ordinary woman. He comes back and he asks her to decode the story, and he decodes it for her. She decodes it for him. She tells the inner meaning. And after listening to this, now he's ready for the instructions of Atmanjnana. So this is the point we stopped at in the last session. So all the discussions before, all the lessons before, you'd find in the previous recording. Any doubts so far? Can we more? Go ahead. Any doubts? So there was a coded story, very symbolic. The story itself was nonsense. It had made no sense. The story was about, okay, my mother had hired a babysitter to take care of the child. Then that babysitter got married to an evil person. Then that evil person and the babysitter had a child. and the child created havoc. And it's a very long story, and the story goes on. Then Hema Chuda understands that there must be something to it. It's not some arbitrary story that this Gnani has told. He asks her what is the meaning, and she decodes it for him. She tells him what each of those characters represent. The mother represents the divine mother, and the divine mother gives birth to the world, and in that way gives birth to the mind, and the mind gets deluded, and then the ego is born, and the ego distorts life. Okay, and that's the progression outward, and then she talks about progression inward. So this is the story. On hearing the story, he's very happy, and now this chapter we take up what happens next. Now she tells him, now she's giving him instructions. Okay, how to go to the self, how to realize, because he asked the question, you have told me about this divine mother, I want to realize her. I want to realize the divine mother. And she tells him, this divine mother is nothing but the self, Atman, Brahman. And how can I realize this self? He asks. So now please mind you, this text is 1,000 years old, and you just see the answer given by this lady from the forest to the prince. She tells him, this is the exact thing, this is the exact words that she tells him. You see me, right? And you are there. In your perception of me, you, when you say I and me, do you include me? Did you get the question? In your, when you think of I, me, as Hemachuda, do I fall into that? Hemachuda says, no, because you're not me, you're outside of me. Okay? And she tells, yes, you have the discrimination to discriminate me outside of you. But all that is not you, you think is you, and you include them. That's the mistake you're making. So discard everything that is not you and stay as a self. This is the instruction. Okay? She tells him, first of all, the self cannot be spoken about. Nobody can teach about it. Nobody can show it. Nobody can talk about it. No guru can show you the self. Okay? But the gnana can remove the ignorance. And when the ignorance is removed, what remains is the self. And how do you remove the ignorance? She tells. How you remove the ignorance? You have a notion of me and mine. Whatever is mine, first you remove it. First you make a distinction of what is me and what is mine. And remove all that is mine as not me. Okay? And then whatever is left, remains is the self. So all of you, and then she says, this is the process. This is the instruction. Discard everything. It's a process of discarding, negating. All you have to do is negate what is not me. What is not me, negate it, throw it out. And what remains is self. Simple. Now all of you have paper and pen. Come on, video. Take your paper and pen. So you say me, right? Me. Suman, Viplav, Shanti, Pallavi, Veena, Soumitra. Okay, you say me. I, me. I want you to illustrate the mental image, not like a artistic illustration, a symbolic illustration of you. Okay, like how a child does, no? Child does one box and puts a cap and says house, my house, right? Then it draws one stick figure and says mommy. Then it draws another stick figure with longer hair and says mommy, and then short hair daddy. Okay, so I want you to illustrate very quickly you. And this illustration could be how you think about yourself. Let's start with that. Let's only focus on how you know yourself, perceive yourself. Me. So take a clean sheet where there's nothing written. Suman, fast. No thinking, drawing. हो गया विप्लव जी हो गया everybody finished Soumitra
Yeah, I did it on the paint actually.
oh you did it on the paint okay you can share the screen you have access to share screen
No, I think so.
you don't have access to share screen
No,
it's there at the bottom no
no, it's saying that host has disabled.
host is disabled okay okay try now no so that is fine that is an intellectual representation of your intellect when I say Soumitra when I say Soumitra you like when somebody says Soumitra you're deep in work right in the office somebody says Soumitra you respond correct
Yeah,
you don't say oh who are they calling who's Soumitra you don't say that that means it's already a program you understand and when somebody addresses your body you respond to it you know that they're talking to you right so I want to illustrate that not what you'd like to be what you are right now this is the symbolism of your intellect I'm talking about totality do you get the question
not really.
so when you say I when you say Soumitra what all images come into your head
My own projection of what I have known, seen.
that projection I want you to illustrate simplified
But that's infinite.
how is it infinite
I mean, I've seen a lot of things and my thoughts are infinite, right? I mean, read, learned a lot of things. So
no
how can I project something which is not limited?
so that is mind okay what about the body can you illustrate your body
Quite difficult.
no not detailed illustration stick figure okay that's Soumitra okay Soumitra is body plus question is that true
Yeah.
okay
Yeah,
body.
that's it.
So that's a seeker right? Is it right?
Yeah.
Okay, so can other people show? You can just stop sharing. We'll come back to this. This is helpful. We'll share the screen like this. Let's see other people. Sumanji, आपका दिखाओ. Drawing. You're on mute.
I just wrote as a lamp. I mean, small light.
Light, that's what you are?
That's what I was thinking also. I didn't know. I because all these teachings have affected or has sunk in so much that I really can't say. When somebody calls me Suman, I think it is a light that is actually, or something on those. I can't put it in words.
Right, okay. Biplavji, आपका drawing.
I don't know whether it will be visible. That was very small, actually.
इतना बड़ा sheet और इतना छोटा drawing.
So, it's just 1 second. Is it visible?
No, it's not visible.
You need to,
Okay.
you need to change the background settings actually.
Okay. Let me
Remove the
change
blur
it.
part. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, meanwhile, Shanti ji.
Is it visible now?
It is visible, yeah. It's amoeba. What is that?
It's nothing. I mean, just glowing light, you can say.
Glowing light. Okay.
Yeah. If you would have given me color, it would be red and orangish. So that's my.
Okay. Very nice. Shanti ji?
Yeah, can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a canvas, empty canvas, or you can say,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, who else is there? Beena?
Hello. Yeah. So actually, I'd come to the doctor, so I could not really paint anything.
Okay.
But yeah, in my head there was I drew a question mark and there was a stick figure of a girl.
Oh, girl. Okay.
Yeah, question mark, same like Soumitra, what he had drawn. It was the same thing picture in my.
Okay. Ravi ji?
Sorry, Krishna ji, I was doing another work for the Light of the Self for Prabhuji's.
Okay.
Whatever question you asked, I would want to say that whenever I think of me, I definitely include God along with me. There was never a point when I just told me as just myself. That was never the case. God or Sadguru or however one would want to say it as.
Okay.
I've always included, I've never negated that fact, but everything else is not me. I'm very sure about that. Even the body is not me. I'm very 100% sure about that.
100% sure. Okay. Very good. Who else is there?
But yeah, the mind is not me. That is what I'm stuck at, the how I'm not the mind. From past few weeks, I'm trying to keep it separate and try to observe the whatever patterns that thought patterns that come up, and I try to keep the mind stay away. Although I am identifying with the thoughts. I'm not telling I'm not identifying. I am identifying, but the identification, the depth of identification is very much reduced, and I'm able to try to keep it away and see from where the thought arises, and even when I fall asleep in the night, I try to hold myself to check the moment when I fall asleep, or when I wake up in the morning. I'm trying to see when the first I am thought comes up. I'm trying to closely watch it, and I'm I'm really trying to closely watch it and keep asking this "Who am I?" question again and again, and
Okay.
that sort of thing.
Okay.
And but definitely, I include, when I say I definitely include God along with me. There is never not even a momentary thing when I've not included. That's never been the case.
Can you ever exclude?
Sorry?
Can you ever exclude God?
No, that's impossible. That is what I'm telling. So now when they say, when when all gnanis and everybody say words are all just false, anything that you speak is not Brahman, like that, etc., etc. So I'm trying to cut down on that part as well. Yeah.
Okay. So who else is there? Shantiji, there's some other Shantiji. Is that Pannaji?
Yeah, I'm logged on using my mobile as well because
Okay.
I'm doing some other work also in the room.
Okay. Okay, very good. So very tough crowd. There's nobody there in the session. It's, I think the question is a little too late. You have come to the question after a lot of study, practice, gnana. So it's hard to answer the question first of all, but you gave some light, some box, some canvas, and some question marks, which is good, which is good from drawing, good from moving out of the notion that I am the body. So what happens? I told you about because of the programming, right? The child gets programmed. Typically, so let me first put out what, let's do it digitally. Okay. Okay, you're already able to see the screen.
Yes, we do, Krishna.
Let's test it. Okay, it works. So I am an individual. True or false?
False.
Okay, what is the truth?
I am that.
I am that. Okay, so
I'm
when
everything.
I am everything. Okay, so am I that or am I everything?
I am that.
What is that?
The consciousness,
Consciousness.
the Brahman.
What is Brahman?
Again, we
That's
cannot
the only
define
thing that exists.
the existence,
Existence.
the only existence, the only truth.
Okay, Soumitra?
Yes, everything actually. I mean, everything is what exists, right? So
That is all theory. What is your experience?
I am pure consciousness, pure energy.
Is that experience?
Yes,
It is experience? Then why there is a question mark for pure energy?
because I have not yet realized it.
That means so that's what
Experiencing and realization is different, right, Guruji? So experiencing is something different and realization is something different. Experiencing, like looking at a mountain from the bottom, you are experiencing the height of the mountain from the bottom as well.
correct.
But realization is reaching at the top of the mountain. So that's a different thing, right?
So my question is, what is the current realization?
Question mark.
Question mark. Okay. Current realization is I don't know. There's no realization. Okay. Question mark is equal to no realization. Correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Then other people, what is the realization? I am. Am I individual?
Theoretically, yeah, I am that, but
No theory.
through experience, it is still a question mark.
Okay. Still a question mark.
Yeah.
So realization is not gaining something new. Okay. So when I asked you, what is to illustrate you, because of the journey that you've got, that any child goes through, I spoke about alpha, beta, all those stages. There is a root identification with the body. Okay. That's why somebody tells anything about the body ages, something happens to the body, because that feels like your border. Because anything beyond the body, you have no sensation of. Okay, you do not experience sensation in my body, in this body. Okay, so the brain forms a program that this border is me. Okay, this is me, simply because I'm able to feel the sensation in this, and I'm not able to feel the sensation outside. True or false? Is it true that you do not feel the sensation of the other and you only feel the sensation in the body, in your body? Is it true? It's true, right? True. But the problem the brain does when arriving at this conclusion and self-programming is that it thinks sensation is individual, it's me. Just because I don't feel the sensation of this body, okay, I am not that body. But it forgets to understand the fact that there is nothing individual about a sensation. So you are not able to feel my hunger, but you are able to feel hunger, which is the same hunger everybody feels. Be it an ant or an elephant or a monkey or another human being, the hunger is universal. You understand? There's nothing individual about hunger. Okay, hunger is a sensation. Okay, just because you are not able to get the sensation, the same sensation in the other, the brain thinks or is deluded, the mind is deluded to think that I am an individual. And that is another individual. There are no individuals. Okay? Because hunger is universal. Pain is universal. You pinch me, I pinch you. It's same pain. Pain is universal. Okay? Whatever the body goes through, diseases, universal. Death is universal. Growth is universal. So in that sense, there is nothing individual about an individual. What is individual in an individual? Is there any individual? Is everybody following the question?
Yeah, but at a physical level, I feel that every being has unique characteristics, and there is individual about every being.
What is that? Tell me.
Even like two leaves are not the same. There is some differentiating factor.
So
Even in nature, when we look at two planets, like Saturn has very unique structure and rings around it.
everything is unique, like
Yeah.
everything else. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Everything is unique, like everything else. That uniqueness also is not individual. Uniqueness is it's also universal. Uniqueness is a universal principle. You understand it?
Yeah. Yeah.
It is in the nature of the universe to be unique.
Mm.
So what is individual? What is individual is only in the ignorance. Only in the mind, there is a notion that I am a separate entity. I'm an individual. Okay. And I am unique. I am seeking. I am this, I am that. So typically, most of people are rooted in this. I am individual as a body because there's nobody else like me. Okay, but there's nothing individual about the body. The body is all borrowed programs from ancestors, family tree. Okay, the body is made up of 5 elements, which is nothing to do, which is not individual. The body is dependent on the sun, food. Okay, body is dependent on multiple attributes for its survival. And you remove any one of the attribute, the body collapses. Okay, so there's nothing individual about the body. The mind there's nothing individual about the mind. All the thoughts in the mind are coming from various programs. So what Hemaleka is trying to tell him that whatever you think is me, let me stop this. There's a glitch in this. Is everybody seeing the glitch or am I only seeing it?
Yes.
Everybody seeing it? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So this individuality, she's explaining to the prince, that you think I am this. And in your notion of I am this, by default, you're cutting out so many things that I am not. You're saying, my wife is not me, my father is not me, this palace is not me. You're discriminating and throwing out so many things in your perception as not me. Okay, but you have stopped at one point. You have stopped doing that activity and you're saying this is me. And she tries to understand from him what is this is me. Then he starts saying this is me, this body is me. Okay, then she tells body is not you, the mind is not you, the thinking is not you. Okay, there's nothing there's nothing individual about any of this. Even this is an object, throw it out. Okay, this she's saying thousands of years ago, that she's practically bringing the distinction between subject and object. Subject as me and object. Whatever your misunderstanding as me, throw it out. Okay, the question mark is me. Is it me? What is the question mark, Soumitra? You had the question mark, no?
Yeah, for me, it was a projection of, I enhanced the image later on while others were showing actually.
Okay.
So, basically, it's a question mark plus the body plus infinite merging into zero. That's what I have represented as a projection of myself actually.
So question mark plus
Body
plus infinite
equal to zero.
Infinite merging, okay, into zero. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, just come here, look. See this. Everybody watching the screen? Let me take a new page.
Yeah.
Let me take a new page. Okay, so I'm just taking his example, which applies to everybody. Question
do you
mark.
want to share the screen, Krishnaji?
No, it's okay. I want to illustrate, so I'm just doing it here. So
Yeah.
question mark plus
Body.
body. Okay. Plus
Infinite equal to 0.
infinite equal to 0.
Yes.
Okay. So this is me. Okay. For somebody, it will be body plus my mind plus maybe my achievements is equal to me. Okay. Now, what you really are, what Himachura is saying, is you are none of this. You are this. What is this? You are awareness. In awareness, there is a thought. There is a thought. There is a thought. There is a thought. There is a thought of the body. There's a thought of the mind. There's a thought of identity. There's a notion of me. Another thought. So in awareness, thoughts rise and fall. Okay. And this thought is just an appearance, like a dream. It's an appearance and disappearance. It has no solidity. So in that sense, nothing, it's not there is thought and there is awareness. There's only awareness. In that awareness, thought rises and falls. If there is no thought, is there a question? If there is no thought, is there body? If there is no thought, is there God? If there's no thought, there's no ignorance, there's no liberation. So everything boils down, the outer world, which you experience as solid, then which is perceived by the body, is withdrawn, and ultimately you only know it as thought. Okay, and thought is an appearance in awareness. So in that sense, everything is in you but not you. You understand the distinction that she's trying to make? She tells him to discriminate between me and I and what I have. Okay, and what I have you throw as not me. I have a question, so it's not me. I have a body, so it's not me. I know a God, not me. Okay, I have an identity, not me. And when you discard everything, what remains is me. She tells is the self. What remains will be the self, and that self is pure awareness, pure silent awareness. So the moment Himachura listens to this, he runs to meditate, to put this into action, which I'll elaborate now. But any doubt so far? Is this clear? What is me? Any correction? So somebody drew a light. Where is the light? In awareness.
In me.
Where is the canvas?
In me.
In awareness. Okay. Everything is in awareness, and I am that awareness. Think of awareness as space. When the Upanishad says I am that's what they're referring to. There is no direct way to perceive that. Okay, but the journey, the process that she's taking him to first is neti, first negation. Then what happens, we'll understand now. There's more to it, but first you have to understand this much: what I am and what I have. The difference between what I am and what I have. Is it clear? What I am is what? Awareness, consciousness. And in that awareness, there is a doubt that, oh, if I am awareness, why don't I, then I need to realize it. What is that? That is a thought in awareness. Just because that thought is there in awareness doesn't change the fact that you are awareness. You understand? But the problem that you make is you identify more with the thought than with the background. You identify more with the image than with the screen. Without the screen, the image is not possible. Do you understand, Samitra, what I meant? The question mark is appearing in you. It appears and it disappears. It has no permanent reality.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, why this no permanent reality you are solidifying so much and saying, giving yourself that label as question mark? If you drop the question mark, what is left?
Awareness.
Awareness. In that awareness, there appears a thought that I am not realized. Does that thought affect awareness?
No.
So, when you said yes before, that means you are, I have, you are taking as I am. You understand? Before the questioning, let me just begin. Before the questioning, whatever the mind is throwing, mind throws thoughts. And why the mind is throwing? From where all these thoughts are coming?
Again.
From all that, this thing, the programs.
Yeah.
Programs are called vasanas and samskaras. All these programs, they keep throwing thoughts. And there is also a program to tell that this thought is me. To identify with the thought and take the thought as reality. This is another program, another thought. To know, and then you have the fortune of meeting a guru or coming in contact with Gnana. Then there's an illumination on the mind. There's a new thought that is put to throw out all these programs as not me. It's a thought. It's again a thought. But the thought is given to remove a thought, like a thorn to remove another thorn. You understand? So with the thought of I am awareness, throw out the thought I am a seeker, or I don't know, or I have not realized. I have not experienced. You understand?
Yeah.
Because self cannot be experienced. All experiences belong to the mind. And all experiences are temporary. So now, this is what happens now. Now, what this guy does is, he goes, Hemachuda goes, he goes to the 9th floor in the palace and he starts meditating. When he starts meditating, he starts questioning. He starts telling, I am not this, I am not this, I am not this. He follows the instruction of the wife and he throws out everything. I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the thought, nothing. Then immediately, his mind blanks, becomes blank, thoughtless. He goes into a thoughtless state. Okay. When he goes into a thoughtless state, he comes out of the thoughtless state. Again, thoughts come. Then he has a memory of the thoughtless state. Then he says, oh, I was thoughtless. I have found the self. Okay. It was so nice, it was so peaceful. There was no stress, there was nothing, there was no problem. I want to go back to the thoughtless state. Again, he meditates. This time, he sees a light. Okay, he sees a very bright. Let me just stop this. He sees a light. He sees a bright light. Then even that is blissful. That is also very blissful. Then he opens his eyes again. Now he's wondering, he's confused now. At one point of time, I saw thoughtlessness. Now I saw a bright light. Again, he meditates. Again, he closes his eyes. And for a long time, he sits. And this time, he goes into dream. He falls asleep and he goes into dream. And he starts dreaming. Then he wakes up. Now he's confused, utterly confused. Because self cannot change. Self is self. At any point of time, if I try to experience it, it should be the same experience. But I'm experiencing thoughtlessness, I'm experiencing light, I'm experiencing dream. That means none of them is self. Okay, you understand? So, and this is the nature of any experience you have. What is the nature? It will rise and it will fall. It will appear and it will disappear. So when you say, I experience the self, you have made it into something that rises and falls, object. But self is not object. Self is can never be object. So in that sense, you can never experience the self. The moment you experience it, it has come into the realm of the mind. But the realm of the mind, the objects, the subject, everything is in the self. You understand? So this is why, this is the problem, and this is the crux in spirituality. That people go after experiences. I want to experience something. I want to experience something that is not in my experience right now. Something new. But the truth, but the reality about self-realization, it's not a new experience. Self-realization is something that is already there right now, but you're not recognizing it. So the example given in Vedanta is, somebody goes to a new place and they're trying to find some landmark, okay, some place. Then they ask another person from that place, where is this landmark? Okay, where is this place? Where is this street? This person tells, you are in it. You are standing in it right now. This is it. This is this place. Okay. Then this person tells, oh, I am in this place right now. Till that point, he was in that place. Okay. But now he is able to acknowledge it. That acknowledgement is called self-realization. Or actually, the word self-realization is the wrong term. It's called self-recognition. You recognize the self. But to recognize the self, you need to know what it is. So that you recognize it. That's what now Hemachuda continues to elaborate on. But did you understand that self is not a matter of experience? So people go after various spiritual experiences. All experiences are in the realm of the mind. Okay? Self is beyond experience. That's why it's called, in Sanskrit, it's called Bhavatit. Gunatita, Bhavatit. Atit means beyond. It is beyond bhava. Bhava means experience. It is beyond experiences, because all experiences are temporary. And self is infinite. It is endless. Any doubts, Samitra?
No.
Now, who is the one who wants the experience? The one who wants the experience is the experiencer. There's a thought in the mind of doer, that I am the doer. Okay, I do, I go, I eat. Okay, that's the doer. There's a thought in the mind of knower, I know. And there's a thought in the mind called experiencer. I am the one enjoy, experiencer. And these three are called Brahma Granthi, Vishnu Granthi, and Rudra Granthi in the language of Vedanta. Brahma Granthi is I am the doer. The strong program that I am the doer is called Brahma Granthi. It's associated with the navel center. Okay, that notion that I am the doer is Vedanta systematically breaks it down by illuminating that how you're not the doer. Okay, everything, there's no individual action in the universe. Every movement of the wave is a movement of the ocean. Then there is a notion, I am the enjoyer, experiencer. That experience is the one who is seeking the experience of Atmangnana. Okay. And when does the experiencer seek it? When does the experiencer seek the ultimate experience?
When it feels it is missing something.
It is always missing something.
Satisfied.
It is always missing something. Then in that missing something, it has gone and tried out all experiences. Then by whatever grace, accident, something, it has come across this word called Atmangnana, realization. Now it has desire for that. Why it has desire for that? To check it off its list. This also I have tried. Okay, but the only thing that it doesn't understand is it can never check this one thing off its list. Every other experience you can have, that is what is called the world. World is experience opportunity. Whatever desire, whatever experiential desire you have, desire of experience, will be fulfilled by the Universal Mother in this life or next life or another life. That is the job of the existence. Whatever you desire is like a seed in totality. That will bear its fruits, matter of time. Okay? But the human mind comes to think that even the self can be captured in experience. Okay? That is the flaw. The self is beyond all experiences. When all experiences cease, what remains is self. So he has this experience, the prince, of thoughtlessness, of light, and of dream. Then he goes to his wife, immediately goes to his wife. He calls for his wife. He tells his servants to call his wife. His wife comes in and he explains to her, this happened, this happened, this happened. Now, please tell me, what is self? I'm again confused. Is it thoughtless? Is it light? Or is it? But then I saw dreams. Then I'm going nowhere. I'm feeling like I'm not getting it. Please explain to me. Then Hema Lekha explains to him. She's very happy. Okay, first of all, she's very happy that he's putting so much effort. Then she tells him, you are going in the right direction. Okay, it's because of the Divine Mother's grace you are able to recognize that this is not self. Otherwise, people will think thoughtlessness is self, and they'll think I have arrived. Okay, there's another journey starts, another delusion starts, that I am enlightened. Then all along they were holding on to some identity called I am husband, I am wife, I am prince, I am king. Now there's a new identity they are holding on to called I am enlightened. Okay, which is other identities you can come out of. I am husband, I am wife, I am mother, I can child, you can come out of it. I am body, I am mind, I can come out of it. I am the doer, I am the knower, I am the thinker, I can come out of it. But how do you come out of I am the self? I am enlightened. Okay, so it is very good that you are able to discriminate and you have come back and ask the question. So this is the process. Tadvidhi pranipatina pariprashnena. He goes and validates. He doesn't conclude by himself and he says, I have attained, I know now. Okay, I have attained thoughtlessness. Nothing more is left. I have had some beautiful experience. I've seen light and I have reached. He wants to clarify and he clarifies with her. And she then tells him, she gives him a few examples and explains to him about self-recognition. One example, she tells, see the self, she also clarifies, the self is not something you're gaining. So don't look for a new experience. Don't look for a gain. Oh, I've gained something. I didn't have it, now I have it. Then she tells an example of a person who has a purse. Okay, the person has forgotten where they've kept the purse and they're in panic. Okay, then they realize where they kept it and then they're peaceful. This is the state of, this is the process. The self is something always there. You had it, you have it, you are it, you will always be that. But momentarily, you forget it. You start thinking, I am the body, I am the identity, I am Suman, I am Saumitra, I am Pallavi. Okay. Then you are given Gnana and you recognize it. Then you realize, oh, I am the self. But in the process of Gnana, you are told how to recognize the self. Then she gives a story. There's a procession and the palace is decorated. The palace is decorated. There's a person with a cow. He's walking in the street. He looks at the palace and he appreciates its beauty. The cow also looks at the palace, but it doesn't have any mental formation. Okay. So she tells, to recognize the self, you need to know about it. That's when you know, no, that, okay, this is the self. Okay, she tells this person who is looking at the palace, he's able to understand it because he knows what is palace, what is decoration, what is beauty. The cow has no experience. It just sees. It sees the same light, same decoration. It makes no sense to it. So the Atma Gnana given by the Guru brings illumination in the mind about Sat Chit Ananda. In the mind, self cannot be illuminated because self is the light. Okay, but the mind is illuminated, and that's why it's called enlightenment. Gnanodaya. Gnana Udaya means there's an illumination in the mind. Because the self has no need of illumination, no darkness. It's beyond that. The mind that is the one that is in darkness. Okay, and the mind is given the light. And when the mind is given the light, the mind is free. The mind is free from its ignorance. A mind free from ignorance is a no mind. Ramakrishna Paramahansa used to tell, a mind which is free from ignorance is the self. Okay, because there's no more now distinction. There's no more mind and self. Are you all following it? Any doubts so far? Saumitra, is it clear?
Yes.
What is clear? Can the self be experienced?
Sorry?
Can the self be experienced?
No. It's awareness seeking awareness simply.
Yeah, so the awareness is also not seeking awareness actually. See, the seeking is again, who's seeking? Why awareness has to seek? A thought of seeking is appearing in awareness. Okay, awareness is not seeking. In awareness, in the ocean, so many waves rise. Does it affect the ocean? They rise and they fall. Awareness thought can never touch awareness because it's an. So to explain this concept of thought appears in awareness, the best example is your dream. Okay. I'll give another example. Close your eyes and visualize fire, like a ball of fire. You did that? Open your eyes. Did you get burnt?
No.
Did you see the fire?
Yes.
Did you get burnt?
No.
Did it touch you?
No.
Did you see it?
Yes.
Right. That seeing is experiencing. So you saw it, you experienced it, you perceived it, but it didn't touch you in any way.
Yeah.
That's called appearance. In the very similar manner, in consciousness, the whole world appears, but it doesn't touch it in any way. It appears, it disappears.
Yeah.
And it's happening, don't think. And in consciousness, in awareness, objects appear. So in awareness, objects appear. Clear? Clear?
Yeah.
World is an object. What is world?
It's object.
World is object. What is body?
It is also an object.
What is mind?
It is also an object.
What is time?
Same. Appearance.
Time is also an object.
Yeah.
Space is also an object. So in the self, so don't think that when I say appearance, you'll start visualizing, oh, in the self, world appeared. And then it's going through some journey and then it will disappear. No. That is again a mental map of reality, which is not anything to do with reality. Like the map, you have a map of Ireland. Has it got anything to do with Ireland?
Mhm.
It's a map, it's a illustration, but the reality is something far away from it, right? Similarly, your notion of appearance is not how appearance is. Appearance means moment to moment is appearing. That means this moment, where is India? Samitra, you're in Ireland, right?
Yes.
Where is India? The mind thinks it is somewhere there, it's in some geographical location. But that mind, its thought of geography, which is space, its thought of time, all are getting projected in awareness now. You understand? Everything is an appearance in consciousness. So she tells, she explains that this is the distinction. This, and how do you know is whatever you perceive, whatever you know, okay, is ultimately thought, and thought is in you, and the thought is in awareness. Example, where are you right now?
In Dublin, Ireland.
Where are you? In Dublin, where are you?
City West.
City West. In City West, where are you?
In the apartment, UCT quarters. Yeah.
In that, where are you?
Living room.
Living room. Huh? So this is a thread of thoughts. Okay, built on a root thought, I am body. You understand?
Mhm.
There's a I am body thought. Within it, there's a I am room thought. That body is in the room. Is the body is in the room or room is in the body? Can you see the room?
Yeah.
You can see the room because there's light. If there's no light, can you really see the room?
Mhm.
So the light, what it's doing is, whatever room you're seeing, it's creating a mental image in your brain. The light is going in the eyes. It's creating a image which is perceived by your brain through electrical signals as room. Correct?
Yeah.
That means you're not seeing the room. What are you seeing?
The light, basically. Yeah.
You are basically seeing a transformed light.
Yeah.
Where is that light? Thought in your head.
Yeah.
So you're seeing only thought. And that thought has a chain. Body, room, world, solar system, time, space. Which all of it is nothing but thought appearing in consciousness.
Mhm.
Now, if this thought is not there, what is that? The only problem is there's a thought and a tendency to go on reinforcing this thought as reality. That is the problem. The moment you understand this, the thought is in awareness, you go on reinforcing awareness. Okay, then you understand that everything is appearance in awareness. And what appears in awareness is also awareness. That's another side of the story that I'll take up next time. First is negation. I am not thought. Then is recognition. I am self. Then finally, that self is everything. This is total recognition. You understand? Aham Brahmasmi. Then you say I am Brahman. Then you say Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya. So I am Brahman. So Mithya. There is a Mithya which is object. Then the final is Sarvam Kaluvidam Brahman. Everything is awareness. Even the thought that appears in awareness is awareness. But how that is I'll dive deep into later. But this much is what now she explains to Hemachuda. And Hemachuda doesn't want to waste a minute because he's hungry and he runs again. He sits again. And this time, effortlessly, he goes into Nirvikalpa samadhi. For 1.5 hours, he's absorbed in consciousness. That means he's alert, he's awake, he's not dreaming, he's not, there's no thinking, there's no thoughtlessness, neither is there thinking. Thoughtlessness is also a thought, that there is thoughtlessness. Right? It's just pure awareness. And then he opens his eyes. After 1.5 hours, he tells, oh, it was very blissful. I want to go back to it. Hemalika is very, very happy that he's attained Nirvikalpa Samadhi. But she tells him again, you attain only Nirvikalpa Samadhi. That's not the final. The reality is Sahaja Samadhi, which is, now it's still there's a dependency on you closing your eyes. You have to close your eyes and your mind is absorbed. You have to recognize the self with Atmagnana. Then with eyes open, eyes closed, you only know, see, touch, feel, experience the self. That is Sahaja Samadhi. And how she takes him to Sahaj Samadhi is the next chapter. So in this chapter, she's held him from the explanation of the story to the discrimination between subject and object. And then he immediately has various experiences in meditation. She clarifies the doubt and she gives him the further teaching about self. Then he attains Nirvikalpa Samadhi, and then she encourages him to move to Sahaj Samadhi, which is called Mukti, Nirvana, or Atmana. Any doubts so far? What I am, what I have, is a clear distinction? Problem is, every I have, you take it as I am. The mind has thought. You say, I am thinking. The mind has some depression. You say, I am depressed. Body has some pain. You say, I am in pain. Intellect has some doubt. You say, I don't understand. But the I has nothing to do with any of this. I is awareness. Okay? And that I that you tell, you say I, that itself is not individual. There's nothing individual about that I. Because anybody you ask in the world, they say I. Same I. Everybody refers to I. And that there's nothing individual about that I. You see how that I is also not individual? There is nothing individual in existence because it's totality. The mind plays a trick that this is me, this is mine, I am doing, I am enjoying, and I am thinking. I am learning, I am growing, I am changing. When nothing is happening to the self. Any doubt in today's session? So if I ask you to illustrate yourself again, what illustration you do? Pamitra? If I ask you to illustrate you, what will you do?
0.
0. Nothing. Just about you, nothing can be told. No awareness, just quiet. That's why anybody goes to Ramana Maharshi, he'll ask, who is asking the question? Sit quiet. Any answer you tell is false. Any answer, including the answer, I am Brahman. I am awareness. The moment you say I am awareness, again a image has appeared on the screen. It's still not the screen. This is the vision, understanding, clarity, realization, recognition of the top I was talking about. There is a world view and there is a consciousness view, awareness view. The choice is yours, which view you want to take. Shanti ji, Viplav ji, any doubts?
No doubt, Krishna ji.
Samitra, clear? Any other experience that you see?
Not right now.
Not right now. So in the next session, we'll take up what Hemalika tells about Sahaja Samadhi. So the scripture, the Tripura Rahasya, is beautifully illustrating the entire journey. So people don't get stuck anywhere. Every angle is thought about and spoken about and elaborated on. And this was done thousands of years ago. Okay, you can imagine the sharpness of their intellect at that point of time to give such examples, which are even till today we're able to relate and understand. The only thing that will change is in current times, we're in a better position to take more examples of virtual reality, of dream, of programming, database, game, CPU, and understand. But the understanding is still the same. Machine, consciousness. I am not the machine. The body mind is the machine. It's a biological robot. And the robot has programs. Stop identifying with the programs. That's all. Is that very hard to do? The robot has a program, something it learned about anger. Okay, some behavior comes out of it. You start identifying, I'm getting angry. Okay, I am doing something. I am feeling it. I feel it so strongly. Any doubts? So Mitra, is it helpful, this knowledge?
Yes, Krishnaji, surely.
What changes? What does this change?
Everything actually.
Everything. To go on running a program of continuity. Okay, there's a program of continuity going on. What is it? The program of continuity, that creation happened some time ago, then some Big Bang happened, then evolution happened, then history happened, then Jesus Christ was born, then now we're at the year 2020, 23. Okay, there's some more time again, and then destruction will happen, all that. None of that is true. Okay, none of that is true. This entire continuity, this journey is false. Then that is still okay. The same logic, the mind starts applying to spirituality also. Spirituality also has journey. Okay, I have to do this much tapasya. Then something will happen. Then something will happen. Some milestone. It's just a thread of. Let's take this one. It's Amazon. Your board, I think. It's just a web. Okay, of thoughts. Have you played any video games, Samitra?
Yes.
Which one?
Many actually.
On PlayStation?
Yes.
Okay, so are you familiar with how game engine works?
Yeah, to a certain extent.
Yeah, so there's a game engine, right? Unity or some other game engine. The game engine is just emptiness. There's nothing there. Okay. Then there are assets put into the engine. Everything is an asset. Sky is an asset. Mountain is an asset. Enemy territory is an asset. The body of the player is an asset. Right? Gun is an asset. Correct? Car is an asset. Road is an asset. Everything is an asset. Is that right?
Yeah.
Follow? So now when you start the game, give me an example of what kind of game. Did you play a first-person game?
Oh yes, GTA, anything.
Take GTA for example. You play GTA, right? You're in GTA, you're in the car. In the car, let's say you're going through a terrain. You're going through a city, New York City. You're in a certain street, okay? The engine, you know what it does? Whatever is in the view of the first player, of you, who's sitting in the car, only that is projected. That means only when you turn the car to the next street gets projected. Then when the next street gets projected, the previous street that you were in gets withdrawn into the engine. You understand? So practically, as you walk, you're seeing the road. And as long as you walk, you can keep seeing the road. How much ever you choose to go, that much you keep seeing. And what you don't see is pulled back into engine. Same thing happens in consciousness. What your senses are perceiving is what is shown. Like in your dream, in a dream you went to Paris. Okay, when you're in Paris looking at the Eiffel Tower, where is the dream India? Is the dream India there? You're looking at Eiffel Tower, okay? Then your somebody calls from India, your relative calls from India. You take the phone. There in India, you're in Paris looking at Eiffel Tower. Where is the dream India in the dream Paris? Is it there? Is it actually there in the geography of the dream world?
No.
Same thing in the waking state. Time, space, objects, people, ideas, creation itself, everything is in thought. And you go on examining the thought, go on peeling it like an onion, one by one, one by one, one by one. Ultimately, you'll come to, not be left. What will you be left with? You'll be left with one thought called I thought. Because everything depends on I thought. Right? You'll come down to I thought.
Yeah.
Even if you remove the body, you remove the thought of body, you cannot deny I. Like you're in a dark room. I ask you, is there a table? You will not know. If there is a chair, you will not know. But if I ask you, are you there? You cannot deny that. You say, yes, I am there. You don't need another perception to know I. Right? So you'll be left with I thought. The thought of I. If you inquire into the thought of I, it leads to self. That's the process. This is called Atma Vichara. There is no other way. Every other way will add to your projection, not free you from the projection. Any path that reinforces time, that reinforces space, that reinforces object, that reinforces experience will keep you in the dream. Waking up is total wake up from everything. And it's simple because all of that, everything is rooted in I. So inquire directly into I and be free. Death doesn't solve the problem. Death doesn't kill the I. Okay, death only it's like in the game, right? Just because the person crashed and died, again it will be one more thing will open up. As long as the I will continue. The real I is deathless anyway. Okay, the ignorance will continue unless in The problem is the waking state. The dream state is not the problem, deep sleep is not the problem. In the waking state, you have to recognize self. You have to recognize what you really are. That's why it's called Jivan Mukti. Death is only the beginning of one more illusion. So somebody asked, what happens after? What is there after death? So the answer was whatever was there before birth. Right? It again continues, goes on and on and on until that the false identity drops. Okay, shall we close for the day? Any other doubts? Is Tripura Rahasya interesting? So the next session we'll take up Sahaja Samadhi. From Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Now, what is the secret of Sahaja Samadhi? Secret of Nirvikalpa Samadhi, we understood. Inquire, who am I? Or catch the gap between the thoughts. Okay, there's a gap between one thought and another thought. There's a gap between the waking state and the dream state. So you don't directly jump from waking to dream. The waking is projected, it's withdrawn, then the dream is projected. So in between there's a gap. There's a gap between two breaths, there's a gap between two thoughts, there's a gap between two states. And that gap is the key. Okay. And the same gap you get when you inquire, who am I? The who am I creates the gap. Because it silences the mind. Okay, then you find that gap. Oh, there's only awareness. And I am that awareness. I do not have awareness. I am the awareness. The awareness cannot be, it's not something that you see, because your eyes can never see itself. But it's a deep knowing, intuitive knowing. That knowing is called Gnana. Okay, if there are no more questions, we'll close the day. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you,
Hari Om,
Krishna.
Guruji. Thank you.
Thank you, Krishna ji.
Hari Om, Guruji. Thank you very much.
Hari Om, Guruji.
Hari Om.